Pakistan says India has, quote, ignited an inferno in the region after New Delhi ordered strikes against targets in Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir, killing at least 31 people. Well, Islamabad adds that New Delhi will be held fully responsible for the consequences. The attack marks one of the most serious military escalations between the nuclear-armed rivals in years. Well, New Delhi said its strikes were precise and intelligence-led, targeting what it calls terrorist camps in 9 locations in Pakistan. Indian officials say no Pakistani military sites were hit and that civilian casualties were avoided. Now, the strikes come 2 weeks after a deadly terror attack in Indian-administered Kashmir that killed 26 civilians.
India exercised its right to respond and preempt as well as deter more such cross-border attacks. These actions were measured, non-escalatory, proportionate and responsible. They focused on dismantling the terrorist infrastructure and disabling terrorists likely to be sent across to India.
Pakistani officials say half a dozen sites were hit in the Indian strikes, including the city of Muzaffarabad. Well, they deny any militant camps were present. A military spokesperson told Reuters 5 Indian fighter jets were shot down, though India has not confirmed this.
Pakistan reserves the right and will respond to this aggression at a time, place and means of our own choice.
Meanwhile, more than 24 international flights have been rerouted for safety, with dozens more cancelled. Airlines avoiding Pakistani airspace include Taiwan's Eva Air, Korean Air, Thai Airways and Singapore Airlines. Well, Neha, Poonia in New Delhi and Hira, Mustafa in Islamabad joining us live right now. First to you, Hira, walk us through some of the key takeaways from Pakistan's National Security Committee meeting.
Well, the national security meeting has just concluded, and after that, the Prime Minister has convened a cabinet meeting that will be taking place at 11 GMT. And right after that meeting, Pakistan's Prime Minister will be addressing the nation. In the national security meeting, Pakistan's federal ministers, along with the top military officials, participated, and they were briefed about the security situation along the line of control, the defense border that separates Pakistan-administered Kashmir from Indian-administered Kashmir. And the key takeaways from this national security meeting is that the Pakistani authorities has deliberated that under Article 51 of UN Charter, Pakistan has the right to defend. And in that context, the Pakistani authorities have authorized the armed forces to undertake the corresponding actions in this regard. That means that Pakistan will retaliate in coming days, and we have seen this sentiment being echoed by the country's military spokesperson earlier in a day, in which he has stated that Pakistan will respond whenever it wants, and at the right time it will hit back to India. Experts say this does not come as a surprise, as we do know that the national security session was convened under emergency measures, as India, over the course of night, has launched 3 missiles in Pakistan-administered Kashmir and Pakistan's Punjab province. So this was imminent that such strong reactions will be coming out from the national security meeting. Also, Pakistan has categorically rejected India's claim that India has targeted the terrorist camps in Pakistan's Punjab province, while Pakistan's stance is that India has launched the cross-border strikes at the civilian areas, and they're claiming that 46 people have been injured as a result of these cross-border strikes, and 26 people have reported have lost their lives. So situation is pretty tense in the capital as we are hearing strong statements coming out from the defense minister from this national security meeting. And there are also reports that Pakistan earlier in the day has taken a team of United Nations to the areas in Muzaffarabad that are being hit by India.
Right, Neha, let's bring you in here. India strikes on Pakistan. What's the latest on that? And also, what are some of the next steps New Delhi will be planning to take?
Well, there's an uneasy calm here in New Delhi as the Indian government and the government machinery monitors comments coming out of Islamabad. There's been a series of developments in the last few hours, including Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi holding a full cabinet meeting where he briefed his cabinet members on the military operation that was conducted overnight, targeting 9 terror camps, India says, inside Pakistani territory. He's also met the president of the country and briefed her on the military operation as well. Sources in the government say that Prime Minister Narendra Modi was overseeing real-time updates as that operation was executed overnight. India standing firm in its resolve that it had the right to respond, said it was acting preemptively, not just to deter any future attacks, but it had intelligence, it said, that more attacks were being planned against India by terror groups that operate inside Pakistan. It said that its intelligence inputs ensured that these were very targeted, very precise attacks to ensure that there would be no collateral damage, no civilians would be caught in the crosshairs of an attack like this. But we've also seen now the government call an all-party meeting for Thursday where opposition leaders will be briefed on what's happened and what the next steps will look like. India's Home Ministry, which is in charge of internal security, has asked paramilitary forces to return from leave and to be on standby. We're also seeing the Home Minister of the country briefing, chief ministers of the various Indian states on the next steps. And, the Indian NSA has also been speaking to world leaders, including China's Wang Yi, and he's told Beijing that India is well prepared to retaliate should Pakistan decide to escalate, but it has no plans to ensure this escalates any further.
Now, Hira, you mentioned earlier that the mood in Pakistan and in Pakistan-administered Kashmir is tense. No surprise there. And some statements expected from officials there. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that?
Well, absolutely. Tensions are running high since last night. And in fact, from past couple of days, we have seen some provocative statements from both sides of the border. Therefore, the community that is living along the line of control, the de facto border that separates the Kashmir region, people are anxious and they're nervous given the fact that India has launched 3 missile attacks in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. So the security
well, I'm afraid, we can't quite. Maybe I should turn to you, Neha, instead. Actually, Hira might be back on again. Right, maybe not quite. Let's just go to Neha. Walk us through the public sentiment in India to the strikes in Pakistan.
Tali, for a few days now, there's been significant pressure on the Indian government to do something in response to that terror attack in Kashmir that killed 26 people. It's one of the worst attacks on civilians that India has seen in nearly 2 decades. And there have been calls cutting across quarters, asking for the government to retaliate, to avenge the loss of those innocent lives. And a majority of Indians who've woken up to news of the military strike have welcomed this. They see this as India's attempt to defend itself, not as a provocative action as Pakistan is calling it. You also have to understand the history between India and Pakistan. These are bitter neighbors and rivals. They fought 3 wars. in the last 70 years. They've had several moments of conflict and tensions, the last one being in 2019 when India had similarly carried out airstrikes inside Pakistan when 40 Indian soldiers were killed in another terror attack. And that strike was also welcomed because many Indians view the issue of terrorism, especially in Kashmir, as a problem that they blame Pakistan for, something that the Indian government has also echoed, not just in its comments in the aftermath of the attack, but also in its comments while briefing world leaders, speaking at international forums. Many people have been tweeting patriotic hashtags. They've been talking about how this is the right move by a country that has been a victim of terrorism for many, many years. But there are also others who are calling for caution, saying this is not the time for a broader conflict. That it will have far-reaching repercussions on ordinary Indians. I think the most immediately impacted the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Border areas have seen, heavy shelling overnight, many of them forced to leave their homes. Schools there have been shut. So civilian life also being impacted as tensions mount.
Hey, many thanks for that report, Neha, Poonia in New Delhi, and Hira, Mustafa in Islamabad.